is not as good as you think. Alright. Y'all only have to suffer through that for this video and the next one next week. So now, we are finally on to Daggerfall this week, testing it out. And of course, Professor Fletchedes cannot be an Imperial here in Daggerfall, because I don't really like doing mods, because it screws with things, at least with that. So we're going to be a Breton, because Bretons are basically close to Imperials, especially the Daggerfall Bretons. So yeah, we're going to have Professor Fletchedes, and we're going to make sure to choose from the list. Select custom, because of course we're going to have to make a stealth archer and try our best with this. Now, the idea I have, well, we're of course going to need, we're probably not going to need very much endurance or personality, because we're going to have pretty much long distance relationships with just about every fan that we see, because shooting at everything from behind a corner, don't really need much of a personality. Doesn't really take a lot of willpower either. And that, the constant clicking is just ridiculous. That will give us 80 points we can spend and play with. We're definitely going to want plenty of speed for missile reloading, because we're going to have a bow and arrow. And we're definitely going to want plenty of agility so we can land our hits. And also sneak. Now, the rest, we're probably going to need a bit more intelligence, mostly because we're going to need at least enough to be able to cast the spells we need. And you know what? Here's how I'm going to do this. So we're going to go with that much intelligence. Strength, I'm fine with being at 50, because damage is really whatever it is. Strength will increase damage, even with bows. However, it's usually better to be able to at least survive your encounters. So I'm going to put into endurance instead. Now, of course, what I'm going to do first is actually go with the disadvantages, so that way we can get this underway, because we're going to need as many abilities as we can to play with. What I like to do, especially if we're going to be in dungeons 90% of the time, because let's face it, if you're in Daggerfall, you're going to be in dungeons pretty much all the time. So, what we're going to want is perhaps Darkness-powered Magery, unable to use magic in daylight. Now, of course, I have a Warlock in my main playthrough who's just like this. If I remember correctly, no, you can't. Yeah, there's a glitch in the oldest version where you could just put the same thing multiple times and it'll drop the dagger as much as possible, but they did fix it in the patched version, which you can get on Steam. This isn't Unity, this is the base version. Now, I'm going to completely remove the ability to use any shields, simply because, well, if we're an archer, we're not really going to be using any shields, like at all, because our offhand weapon is going to be a bow or a dagger, and our main hand and weapon would be a bow, but honestly, you wield a bow in your left hand, typically, unless your dominant hand is actually your left hand, then you would put it in your right hand, because of how using a bow works. Though most Elder Scrolls protagonists don't seem to quite understand that. Now, I don't think we really need much of anything else. That should be enough points to play with. We're definitely going to need an advantage now. So, usually it's really nice to have a few more spell points, especially since we're going to need some magic to mess around with stuff. 2 times is pretty good. That raises the dagger up a bit. 3 times is the best, but I'm not sure if we really need it. Now, hmm, if we're going to run through this, let's see if I can have immunity to magic. Eh, this should work. Or actually, hmm, acute hearing does like nothing, does it? Yeah, so, alright. Regenerate health? Regenerate health in darkness? Yeah, we can be fine with just double magicka. And then raise health to a D15. That should be plenty. Now we need to move on to skills. And of course, if we're going to be a stealth archer, it would be nice to have stealth and archer. Stealth archer. Now, funnily enough, when it comes to making a custom class, your first primary skill actually dictates how much you actually get, like in your background wise. So it'd probably be better to put archery like up here somewhere. Here I'll put climbing here. I'll put stealth down here because we would actually probably want to put archery first since we're using a bow and arrow. Now, this may sound weird, but we're definitely going to want to have mysticism as a skill because, well, we're definitely going to be doing a bit of shenanigans with magic to make archery as good as possible. Now, as my lesser skills, we're probably going to want critical strike, because that's the closest you get to an actual sneak attack, at least between that and backstabbing. I'm not sure how many backstabs we're going to get, but honestly, if we're sneaking around with a bow and arrow, we should be able to at least get a few off. So that would be perfectly fine. We would probably want climbing, so that way we can get up onto the high ground, do Obi-Wan style. And speaking of, it would probably be nice to have thaumaturgy as a skill, so that way we can get levitation. Perhaps we can take, let's see here, I'm going to take running. I'm going to take jumping. Then we're going to take dodging, just so we can evade some attacks, because you wouldn't want to get hit from far away. We're going to take, not swimming. I don't know if I want to have a side option, honestly. You know what, yes. We're going to take short blade here. Yeah, you know what? I don't think we need short blade. We should actually be good, because I'll show off later. In fact, probably good would be good with hand to hand when push comes to shove. Maybe in some cases literally. And then for a final skill, we'll take illusion. I know it's in minor skills, however, it should be good there because illusion means we can at least get some invisibility there. Alright, now of course this is our beautiful stealth archer class for Daggerfall. This is going to be the last time we get a custom class, so bask in this gloriousness. And now what I want to do is probably edit some reputations. It'd probably be best to actually have a good liking with merchants, especially if we're going to, you know, buy arrows. And the underworld, you don't really speak with anyone in the underworld, so gameplay wise, it's perfectly fine to just put that at -10. It's not like it really affects much of anything. And then that should be it, right? Crap. I'm gonna have to do all of that again, aren't I? Oh, reputation change. Oh, that was background. Whoops. Name thyself. Can I redo the background? Because it's better to have the custom background. Okay. I never really liked... Uh, I feel like the Daggerfall character creation is definitely very bland. I guess mostly because the music isn't there, but you know, it is what it is. We don't really have very many scholarly faces. Not very many that says professor. That would work though, I suppose. Now it's time for rerolls. Okay, so we're definitely going to want as much speed as possible. So let's see here. I'm going to save this roll, because this here gives us a lot of speed right here. 90 speed is very good. And let's see here. We can bump our agility up to 80, which is insane. And our endurance up to 75. That is not bad. Not bad at all. Now we're going to keep this roll, because we might like it. I'm going to roll and see if we get anything better. If we can get something better, then I'll take what's better, you know? This here is a bit of a... probably one of the most fun parts of the character creation is the gambling side. Let's see here. Alright, let's see here. I want to try and get a 14 with an 85 speed. Okay, that's close. It's very rare. Here, if I put this number here, I'll be able to see it, both of them closer together. You know what, that's close enough. Let's see how far we can go. We can go 90 there. See, you're at 80 here. 75 there. That's literally the same as before, so... Oh, but we do have a higher strength and a higher intelligence now, so that's actually good. Willpower and personality don't really matter, though. Alright, now, you really want to have a higher stealth skill, especially in the early game, because sneaking in this game, it's rough. I'm telling you now, it's rough. Now, we definitely want to have a high critical strike chance, and we want to have at least a decent climbing skill. It would be nice to have a bit of a higher hand-to-hand skill just to start, so we have a better side option. I'm going to play on very high reflexes, just for the fun of it. Professor Fletcher. Fletch. Yeah, I forgot to... Here we go, Professor Fletchedes. And it won't let us select a different background. Okay, well that should be perfectly fine then. Let's go on into it.
$400.
Yeah, everyone has seen these intros. If you want to actually see the intros, then, you know, watch my playthrough. I am not going to reset the tutorial. Alright, now let's see what our character looks like. Alright, so now that we are all situated, we're just going to go through this part. Now, of course, we only have 6 arrows, so we're going to have to leave this tutorial area and get situated pretty quickly. We don't have enough arrows to actually run through this whole dungeon conveniently. Now, stealth is an option. However, stealth isn't going to be the most useful, nor are we going to be able to deal with bit of mana. Chameleon costs a little bit of mana. And now Chameleon, it only works whenever you're standing completely still during the duration of the spell. And yeah, the Chameleon spell you get is lame, weak, and doesn't really work all too well. Now, if we do manage to get some good sneaking shots, then we'll definitely use them. However, I am very doubtful. We're just going to sneak around, and we're probably just going to have to monk build our way through basically every encounter, which should be fun. As you can see, the bats, even though I'm sneaking all the time, they found me pretty quickly, and they deal pretty decent damage, so I'm not too hopeful. We're definitely going to have to back off, rest to heal, and this is just generic Daggerfall gameplay, really. We haven't even gotten to any of the crazy parts yet. Now, of course, there is a in this room. Now, Fist can hurt imps. Fists and the Ebony Dagger specifically can both hurt imps. If you don't start with the Ebony Dagger, you're basically screwed. Unless you choose hand-to-hand, because hand-to-hand is actually pretty busted in this game. I mean, yeah, like, look at that. Already got it up to 21% skill. We'll be able to punch our way through to victory in no time. However, we are going to need to use bow and arrow most of the time, so I'm mostly using fists just to get us through the tutorial, because having a way to basically ignore any and all material requirements is very convenient. However, we will definitely deal with that in the long run. In the meantime, until we get enough enemies to actually use a bow on. And we're probably not going to get any critical strikes or backstabs on anyone, sadly. That's perfectly fine. However, we will be able to encounter an archer soon, so we should be able to at least gain access to a bow. Right quick, there is an enemy down here. I'm going to actually try and go in for a shot. Yep, as you can see, there's a thief. A thief that found us. Great. Well, there's no point in turning back now. The thief's probably going to kill me. Nope, I outbeat the thief. Okay. Let's equip some leather armor now. We cannot use shields, so we're just going to have that in our inventory. Honestly, it's perfectly fine that we can't equip shields. It's not like we're going to really use them. There are enemies nearby, though. Sounds like a rat. Where is the rat? There's a rat nearby. I can hear it. It's trying to bite at me. Either a rat or a bat or something. I swear. Oh, there's a rat. We'll run back here next. Okay, so which room is this rat in? Oh, this room. This room has respawning rats, it looks like. Maybe, just maybe. Well, hand-to-hand skill and running skill have improved. More enemies nearby. Ah, great. A rogue. Yeah, he's smart. Okay, we're just gonna have to punch him and... Wow. Yeah, as you can see, this game is very unforgiving. However, we are back here where that thief was, so perhaps we can get a good shot off. We don't have very many arrows, but what we do have is a chance. As you can see, I hit the thief in the back, and that was a significant amount of damage because we actually killed that piece that time in like 2 hits. So yeah, we don't even need to rest now because we actually did some good damage. So yeah, Stealth Archer. It can be done. It just takes a bit of chance. A dice roll. It requires you to line up the shot because arrows in this game, well, they're pretty rare. At least pretty rare unless you do a bit of shenanigans. But we'll figure that out in town. Right quick. I'm gonna have to drop a save here. Hopefully this archer hasn't already discovered me, because there's an archer in this next room. And we can fight him. Oh. Yeah, I'm using up 2 arrows, so we definitely want to fight back. As you can see, the archer is using a melee weapon at the moment. And only had 2 arrows. Huh. Ain't that something? Alright, well, at least we got a helmet now. And a couple of items we can sell. It is what it is. We didn't really get any extra arrows, but that's perfectly fine. We'll get more in town. Ways to do things. Yeah, now we just have to go upstairs here. Now there is a skeleton. Oh, there's also a bat here. A bat that, mind you, has discovered our location. However, we can just take the arrow back, it seems. Well, that's perfectly fine. Now there is a skeleton over here. There's a bear in the room behind me. If you jump... Oh, wow! What the... Jump up onto this pedestal, the skeleton won't be able to reach you very well. And you can use the high ground to arrows. And the game will make sure you don't run out of arrows, because it will prevent you from actually pulling out your fists. So yeah, that sucks. Arrows back, so we can at least equip our fists with our bow. They're no joke. I mean, I'm just punching and kicking this guy. And I was still punching and kicking him after I went to the grave. Yeah, they're no joke. Yeah, I'll be careful with those guys. Oh. Hang on, I think I need to reset my weapon here. Great, okay, so... I think my game is a bit bugged at the moment. Alright, let's see if I can try this again. Okay, I can only have well, it appears my game is bugged. Oh well. A successful backstab to a bat to the Shadow Realm. Holy crap. Well, you know what? Let's just jump up here. And this time we're probably not going to deal. You know what? Here, we're just going to kick the skeleton's face in. And of course I can't pull out my bow because the bow seems to be broken for some reason. Yeah, it seems the bow can. I would like to at least kill the skeleton warrior, just so I can at least. Oh, if I can. So yeah, the bow here in Daggerfall seems busted. Oh, all the wrong ways. Great. And I'm going to die here. And I killed the skeleton warrior. Alright. Well, see if the bow fixed itself. Nope. Bow's still broken. Here, I'm going to unequip the bow. That way I can drop a save and then maybe load. And the game could probably fix itself then. If I just load in like so. And then equip the bow. Alright, no. Alright, here, we're going to punch the bat. Doesn't seem like we got a successful backstab off, at least. But hey, we pushed him into the Shadow Realm, just like last time. And here, we're just gonna... Okay, apparently our jumping skill is that high. I'm just gonna run out of the tutorial area. It's gonna be easy to do. Because honestly, we have enough speed and agility just to do it. Because this room... But you can just run out the... You can just run outside. And rest. Alright. And we actually leveled up from that. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Here. I'm going to put my points... I'm going to put some points into endurance, just so we have more health. And then put the last point into intelligence to make it 69. Nice. And then we're going to rest a bit more. And now, we're going to head to the nearby location of Gothway Garden, just one day south. And I'm going to camp outside just to make it not cost any extra gold. I'm going to make it all the way to Gothway Garden. I can still not equip my bow. Well, that sucks. Oh well. Maybe I can get that fixed at some point. Because, you know, if I can't use my bow, then I kind of don't have the video. Oh well. I can at least show off a few gimmicks that can make archery gameplay at least a bit manageable here in base Daggerfall. I just need to make sure that this place has a Mage's Guild hall, which I do believe is just northward. I've been in Gothway Garden a few times before, so we should be able to head this way. And all we need to do is join the Mage's Guild, join the Fighter's Guild. I'm going to get a spell from the Mage's Guild, and then cast it again and again in the Fighter's Guild to make us some money and to fix our arrows. Because as long as you do this one little gimmick I'm going to show off, you'll have all the arrows you ever need to be able to, well, be a stealth archer. And it looks like it's currently 6 o'clock in the morning, so we're going to have to loiter outside for a bit, which sucks. That's perfectly fine. Is this place open? Nope. We'll loiter outside for 3 hours again. Alright, running skill is improved. Then drop a save. And then we're going to head inside. Join the guild right here. Yes, you are worthy to join the Mage's Guild as an apprentice. That's all you need. Now you can use the Spellmaker. And we're going to need this Spellmaker for just one spell. Just one little spell. And that's not the Spellmaker. I believe the Gothway Guard is the Spellmaker. That's the Dangerous Summoner. Oh, that's outside. The music didn't even stop doing that. Imagine having mage guild music while exploring town. That's crazy. Alright, no Spellmaker here. You know, just the process of finding a Spellmaker right quick. Wow. Oh, you're the spell seller. You sell spells, you don't make spells. You are the magic item maker, but you can't really make magic items unless you're really high up in the guild. You sell magic items, but again, you can't make magic items unless you're really high up in the guild. You make spells. Now we are going to need you for one purpose, and one purpose only. Create item. We're going to make this spell a duration of 1 to 1 for every 20 levels. That's going to be a low cost, and this spell is going to be called 01 Make Arrows. Perfectly fine spell. We're just going to buy this thing up right quick. The icon really doesn't matter because we're only going to use this spell in the Fighters Guild after we rest up. Because we're going to have to go down to the Fighters Guild now. Music's still playing. That's a bit ridiculous, a bit wild. Let's just go ahead and head down this way though. Music changed. Nice. We'll go ahead and join this guild. Yes, you look like the warrior sort. Yep. Join the Fighters Guild. You'd be able to join both guilds easily with this build setup because you would have both high magic skills and high fighter skills such as archery and thaumaturgy, or at least high in mysticism. Yeah, we definitely need to get everything else up and increased. Because a archery skill of 31 just ain't gonna really cut it. Now, we are going to rest here until fully healed. That's going to increase our running skill, shove us up here, but that's perfectly fine. And we can drop a save here in the old guild hall. Now, I'm going to open spells. Cast Make Arrows, and we are going to make, you guessed it, arrows. And then if you immediately rest right after you cast this spell, if you look in your inventory, hang on, first of all, you'll notice that there's no spell effect up there anymore. That's because the spell ended. However, since we rested when we casted that spell, we now have 20 arrows in our inventory. Now, and we can say, get more arrows, rest until fully healed, and if we look in our inventory, as you can see, we have 34 arrows. Now the real kicker is when you cast this spell, let's say you want to make, oh, I don't know, a short bow, and then you rest. Let's look in our inventory. Oh, what's that? An iron short bow. Not quite as good as my steel short bow, but you know, it is what it is. honestly don't know what I did. Tell you what, because I don't think we'll be able to really continue this if I can't really do much. So what I'm going to do right quick is I'm going to reset my game, see if that fixes things. And we're back, and I can actually switch my weapons around now. So yeah, it is very good to reset your game. What you want to do, I would suggest making sure you have your bow out whenever you save. Don't save with your hand out, because it seems like that actually breaks the game. So yeah, note to self, a good way to fix it though is resetting your game. That way you can at least, use your stuff. Alright, now we're going to make weapons. And you can make a lot more. Like, I can make, say, a steel helmet. Rest until fully healed. And now I have a steel helmet, or at least a +3 helm in my inventory, same as the one I already got. That's fine. We've got plenty of stuff. It looks like I could use maybe a right pauldron and some gauntlets, so let's make a steel right pauldron. Rest up. And now we can put that on. And then let's say steel gauntlets. Rest up. Now you may notice a bit of a pattern that all these things I'm making, they're here permanently, despite the fact that this game's trying to say that they're like temporary. They're like here fully permanently. I have all this equipment here, including 34 arrows, which weighs 8.5 kilograms in total. That's a lot of mass from arrows, and as you can see, my encumbrance is a bit up there. We're probably going to have to lose some weight soon. What would happen if I, say, make a bunch of short bows? Because, we're going to use a short bow. What if I make, like, a ton of these? And, I can make as many as I want. As you can see, I have a short bow that's as good as this one. I can probably go, you can actually go above the encumbrance and maintain that. I'm going to make maybe a few more arrows right quick, because it would be nice to at least have some more arrows, It's always nice to have more arrows. Because as you can see, that weighs up to 10 kilograms. 10 kilograms of arrows is probably all you need. That's a good quiver of 42 arrows right there. And so yeah, I'm going to do a bit of a cut ahead. I'm going to just say sit here and as I can and see how far we can go. managed to get a level up. We just hit level 3. I do believe this could be a good time to, at the very least, try to wrap up our grinding session soon, because the higher levels I get, the harder this game is going to get. As you can see, I definitely need to get more gold for training anyways. And of course, I'm going to put my points, I'm going to put it into agility just for a little bit higher hit chance. Here we go. And as you can see, my archery is 37, my mysticism is currently 38. I have a silver short bow, which does as much as that, however it is silver, so we'll equip it. I don't think we have, oh, we have another silver longbow, which is nice. We have a couple of steels. Not very many of any other material. You can tell what material a bow is by its bowstring and what color it is. I can see iron or steel is about the same color as the background, where iron is a bit darker. Daedric is red, and then there's so on and so forth. I still need to sell this stuff to an armor vendor at some point. Am I going to be able... it wouldn't really matter, because, yeah, we got a few things we gotta do for that. Let's see here. I'm going to wait until it's 11, wait 11 hours. I'll stop things early now. There we go, it should be, yeah, it's 12:03. Market's going to be open, so we can at least sell these bows, see what we get. I'm going to get training from the marksman lady here, so that way we can, or at least training from the training lady here, so that way we can get even 38 on our archery skill, which is probably more than enough for some dungeon delving. Then of course we'll do a bit of dungeon delving to basically train, basically test out stealth archer and see how good it is at dungeon raids. So yeah, we're going to sell our goods here. Let's see, making items in this game is essentially like, yeah, this gets ridiculous. Like, if you do this long enough, I'll be able to afford way more training sessions. Basically, yeah. So we're going to head on back now, another training session in archery, then I'm going to take the quest, and then I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm going to take a training session, and there is a bit of a gimmick with training, because of course, whenever you get training, at least in the older versions, in the base version you can get on Steam, if you do this here, it costs 300 to get training. That's because we're level 3. So yeah, we'll take archery, 3 hours of training. If you go into rest, and then leave, okay, it didn't actually do it. Here, we'll actually rest up a bit so we can get our energy back a bit, our fatigue. It usually is supposed to, like, speed up the, like, if you go into resting and leave, it'll get you your training, but, you know, just give yourself time to reflect on training. Yeah, I guess we just need to let more time pass. Let's go ahead and head northward. We're going to go hit the Mage's Guild. I'm going to get a spell that will basically give us the ability to hide in shadows a bit, because we're going to need a shadow spell. It looks like, you know, movement speed isn't really our strong suit. I guess we need to raise our running skill. But you know, that is what it is. We can at least bunny hop our way. Of course, bunny hopping is a bit jittery with camera movements, because you're not allowed to move your camera while you're there, which is a bit gank. But I guess it is to fix some coding with, you know, movement mid-air, because I'm certain that there's some sort of bug or glitch where, probably in early development, where the devs noticed that, like, moving your camera mid-air would move your probably have to lock your camera just to fix that bug. But you know, it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and take... I feel like that icon there should be good for like a little veil. We are going to take the spell. Should be down here. It's going to be an illusion spell. It's going to be Shadow. We're going to want True Shadow. True Shadow is going to cost a bit. However, if we just have it, say... If we just make it a 2-2, 76 spell points isn't too bad. And yeah, this here is going to be 0-2. Shadow Cloak. This here is going to allow us to be able to, at the very least, hide while we're actually exploring around and sneaking about. Because if you can't hide, then you can't really deal with many situations. Now, it would probably be nice to also have, just for convenience sake, we're going to take, let's see here, teleport. This way we can at least place an anchor. We're going to call this 03, the warp. So yeah, now we can warp ourselves. Warp around a bit. And now, we're going to want something that lets us fly, because flying as an archer can be pretty devastating. Can be pretty nice. So yeah, 76 mana, shouldn't be too bad. 0-4. Flight. Yeah, I mean, these spells ain't gonna really last for too long, but, you know, it'll at least allow us to get about the place and do some things. So yeah, that should be a good indicator right there. That should be a good bit of a spell list right there. As you can see, 138 spell points. So yeah, we should be able to easily afford just about any of these spells, including Make Arrows, which is very useful. Basically, if you're in the middle of a dungeon, you would want to use Make Arrows, so that way you can, well, make arrows. Now, we may want to get back to the Fighter's Guild quick, because it does look like it's about to hit nighttime, and if we're locked out of the Fighter's Guild, then we're going to have to loiter in an inn, unless we want to buy an inn for the night. But I honestly enjoy having a free bed in the Fighter's Guild. Only problem is, well, you actually need to be able to get into the Fighter's Guild when it's open to actually use the bed. Oh, thank God. Okay. So now we should be able to rest until fully healed. Alright. That's a good 8 hours right there. As you can see, that got our training up a bit. So now we have a 38 in archery. I'm going to wait until it's morning though, so that way I'm not like a freak or anything. Oh, bless me. Sitting in this place while it's dark to get a quest, you know, abusing the NPCs a bit. Now we're going to take some training while it's nice and early in the game. Get some archery along the road, so we can get a 39 in archery. I'm going to drop a save now, and we're just going to take a quick little Fighter's Guild quest to get some things going. We've got a little job you might be interested in. Seems there's a loop, what you call your basic werewolf wereboar, or some kind of werebeastie that's been bothering a lot of farmers in the area. Each one to kill it. 160 gold in your pocket. That sound interesting to you? Yeah, sure. We'll go kill a werebeast. Should be fine since we do have a silver bow, so, you know, silver can attack were creatures. Great, you'll find the loop over in the ruins of Buckingstone Grange. We need the poor thing root dead in 56 days, so you better be on your way, kid. Alright, so ruins of Buckingstone Grange. Let's go find that place. Shouldn't be too hard since, you know, this is kind of the only dungeon we really have. The only major dungeons, so we should be able to spot it with the larger dungeons have this right on the map. So we should be able to see it. the entrance? Okay, it is. Oh, I don't think I've seen a single dungeon placement like this. Alright, that's cool. Yeah, I'm not going to really bother with too many saves, because, well, going in this place, I mean, it's close to nighttime. If I rest until fully healed, yeah, we'll get some mana. Here, I'll do that, so that way I can make some arrows while I'm out here. Yeah, so that way I'll have a few more arrows. Yeah, 71 arrows should be more than enough to help us clear this entire dungeon. Alright. You know what, I'm gonna drop 2 saves just so we can do this, so... Fletch. Done. There we go. Alright. Let's get a move on. Now the only real gimmick is we just need to make sure that we don't have our bow out grabbing things. We can probably deal with melee. Now we should be able to make our way forward. Kill some rats, I guess. Constantly switch back to my bow. Alright. Should be able to rest up in this place pretty easily. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a warp here. I'm going to place a here because this is right next to the dungeon entrance. I'm going to rest until we're fully healed once again. And now, I'm going to cast Shadow Cloak. That's going to shade us, so now we're harder to see. This isn't going to make it to where we're impossible to see, mind you. It's going to make it to where we'll at least have to jump on some enemies. In fact, we can actually sprint around a bit. Make sure we cover these exits a bit. Now we're going to see. Oh. Yeah, burglar. We're just gonna have to fight her. She found us, she saw straight through our little shadow cloak facade. We can probably run back. I mean, that's the real strength with archery, is you can literally just run back and not have to deal with enemies, basically. And now we can just rest up here. And we're probably going to have to use Shadow Cloak so we can at least be a little harder to see. And now, we just really need to run around this place and... well, more burglars. Yeah, stealth archery isn't really a thing in this game. Mostly because you just get detected and, oh wow, look at that, an Elven War Axe. Morgardreth would be happy to see that. Yeah, we're at least getting a lot of equipment here. I mean, look at that. +1 helmet, I mean, we do have a +3 helmet. +3 cuirass, +3 greaves, +3 boots. And you know what? Here, I'm going to drop all this stuff in this person's corpse since I can't really sell it anyway, so may as well overload that person. Alright, well, let's keep move on. We got a werewolf to find, or some sort of beast. Got a rat that detects us. That's what happens when you hear sounds. That means there's an enemy that's detecting you. Sometimes they can lose you, though it's very rare that it happens. Yeah, I mean, this place here, it seems like there's not much to it. I mean, I guess, no, can't rest, so obviously there's something out here. Oh, I can rest here. course, between low render distance and the fact that there are so many holes in this game, it's rare that you'll ever get into a sniper duel with anything, or anyone, for that matter. So, archery in this game, I mean, you can definitely see that I can launch out some seriously quick arrows. Oh, sniper duel! Hell yeah! We actually got in a sniper duel there for a second. Yeah, the only downside is using your bow does require you to use the interact key. So you'll basically constantly see, you see a burglar, you see a burglar, you see a burglar, or whatever you're shooting at. It'll basically just tell you what you're looking at. Which I guess is kind of useful, because it means you don't have to inspect an enemy first to try and know what you're looking at. Now, you hear that. I mean, it's just basically not really easy. At least getting some good gold out of this. Doesn't look like we're really using stealth archery all too well. Mostly just using loud archery. It's almost like this game doesn't really like stealth archer that much. And I mean, yeah, this is mostly one of those games where, I mean, the fact that you can at least, like with Magic, archery is at least saved a bit because you can just create a ton of arrows so you never run out. Because, I mean, I entered this dungeon with like 70, oh, and the game crashed. Great. God, I think that could sum that up right there. Yeah, so the game crashed, popped me right back out here by this dungeon. Like we never even entered the place in the first place. But yeah, I think that should about sum up the general gist of being a stealth archer in Daggerfall. It's not like, I mean, I did do some pretty decent damage there. I was definitely killing enemies from afar. You know, that's definitely the strength of being a stealth archer, is you can kill enemies from afar. They don't have to approach them. Once they break that distance, you have to put up your dukes, and if you don't have a high hand-to-hand skill, then, well, you'd have to pull out whatever melee weapon you have, and it actually takes time to pull out a different melee weapon, so you're basically better off just pulling out your dukes anyways. But anyways, yeah, so how strong is Stealth Archer in Daggerfall? I mean, due to a glitch, it is possible to actually make being a Stealth Archer, like, being a Stealth Archer is very easily doable in Daggerfall because you don't have to actively buy arrows. In fact, you can print arrows, and then you can print money so you can get more equipment, more training, and you really don't need to focus on actually being high in mercantile to buy arrows. So you have infinite arrows, however you don't really have that much else, you know, like there's not really much to stealth archer. In fact, there isn't really any stealth archer. The only real stealth archer there is if you join the Mage Guild and Fighters Guild, get training in archery from the Fighters Guild, and then of course use your mysticism to make arrows and bows so you can keep yourself armed and topped off. But other than that, you're not really like this insanely deadly assassin, you're just an archer who happens to be good at stealth. You don't really combine the two in a way that's actually deadly, you're just some guy in Daggerfall. So yeah, Stealth Archer is actually probably the most balanced in Daggerfall. It's actually the most balanced in Daggerfall. There's not really much of an insane build. The craziest thing you can do is literally just get yourself more arrows, which honestly is more of a duplication glitch than anything. And I mean, in Daggerfall, or in Oblivion, I showed off a scroll duplication glitch that you can use in conjunction with alchemy to make your arrows stronger. But you can't get alchemy in Daggerfall unless you become really high in the factions, where in every other Elder Scrolls game you can buy potions anywhere, at any point in the game. So yeah, you're basically screwed everywhere in Daggerfall. You actively have to use like gimmicks to actually make do with what you got. I mean, the only reason I have a silver bow is literally because I just spammed this spell that you're not even supposed to really use. It is technically a glitch because, you know, it's a great item. It's the early concept of bound weapons and bound equipment. So you're supposed to lose all of these arrows after you summon them. But you know, you can still keep them and sell them. But I feel like that's perfectly fine. I mean, it's a magic system in an old RPG, so it's magic. You know, it doesn't have to be perfectly balanced. So yeah, Stealth Archer and Daggerfall, it's not bad. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely nowhere near as strong as in any of the other games. But yeah, in the next week we're going to handle Arena. I got at least a good idea on how I can make that a bit stronger. I mean, it shouldn't take too long to get that set up, but honestly, there's probably going to be a bit more setup with Arena. There wasn't really much setup I could do here in Daggerfall, but you saw there with as much setup as I could get in the early game, I would still be detected, and stealth isn't really an option. Like, you don't really sneak past enemies very well. But yeah, that's going to be it for the rest of this episode. This has been your bro Frosty. I'll catch you on the next one. Later!